We're about to get the race underway then. The second chance heat, 11 laps the race will be. And there is the grid. So an 11-lap race. 6 drivers will make it through. Everybody else will have game over, I'm afraid. There is the grid with the front row. Rasmus Friedel, the Swedish driver, and the British driver, Brett Ward, on row 1. Daniel Matchicek from Austria and Romain Jaloux from France are on row 2. Another quick French driver, Nicolas Picot, the KPR driver, lines up 5th. Petra Betzel has just been firing himself up on the grid, is 6th. So those 6, if they can stay there, will go through, but everybody else is targeting them, of course. Jakomati Paulin is going to be starting next up at 7th on the grid with Joel Depuch, another French driver, in 8th. And we look a little bit further back, other drivers that have got a chance of coming through still. Abdullah Al-Wahawi and Maciej Strupek start on the 5th row of the grid. On the 6th row, Wackersdorf Besler, 4th in the championship. Nicholas Szabo is another that is on that 6th row. On row 7, Taylor Greenfield and Rowan Grimwis. On row 8, Tom Croydon and Jordan Lennox-Lamb, who was on the podium in Italy and has had all sorts of problems in the heats this weekend. Well, had a 7th place in heat 1 and then 2 disasters in heats 2 and 3. What can he do from 16th place? He wasn't particularly quick in the warm-up this morning either. But the DD2 championship runner-up of last year will not be ruled out, that's for sure. Row 9, Thomas Travana and Agalos Malandrinos. Row 10, Max Timmermans, 4th in the junior championship last year, and Michael Kuhl. Row 11, Dorian Heinrich and Mart Su. Row 12, Ray Yu Wang, who's made the trip from Taiwan, and Michelle Biffiger. Row 13, John Grams and Ben Davis. Row 14, just one driver, that's Gabriel Delgado Barrios. So 27 starters, Chris, 6 places available, and they're all going to be gunning for it.
Yeah, and I just have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be an awful lot closer. In that junior last chance heat, second chance heat, they front 6 just kind of scampered away, didn't they? And so we knew early on, barring any kind of issues, who it was going to be. I just think this is going to be closer. Probably the most frustrated driver out there is going to be 207, Brett Ward. After such a dominant performance on the Friday, he just had so much bad luck, and he's going to want to just get out into the front and see if he can just get the job done, get himself through, and then think about how he's going to work himself through the grid. But there's a lot of hungry drivers, and one of them looked like he was hungry in more ways than one.
Okay, here we go. Rolling start to the left of the picture, to the green helmet. It's Friedel, the pole sitter. Away they go, clipping the curve there through the kink at turn 1. In the dark blue suit was Brett Ward. He's determined to get through into the lead of the race. Is he going to do it through turn 2 into turn 3? Somebody from that front pack has gone out wide there. And there's another bit of carnage in the middle of the pack as well. Looks to me, they're all got clattered together now, because there's no way through, I'm afraid. So we'll try and identify those when they come back around. But at the front of the field, I think it's Rasmus Friedel, isn't it, that's got the lead of the race. They're about to make their way through the chicane at turn number 8. Yes, it's the pole sitter back in first place. In second position then, we've got number 291, Daniel Matchicek, who started the race in 3rd position. And then as they come out of turn 9 through these S's now, it's Brett Ward, who briefly looked like he might get the lead, but he's there in 3rd place. Still not too bad. Petra Betzel, the firing up of himself, worked wonders because he's gone from 6th to 4th at the start of the race. So there are the top 3 then. Friedel exiting the final turn to start lap number 2. On his heels, though, is Matchicek there in the red and black race suit, and he goes for the lead of the race. He gets through at turn 2, and he's done it just in time before the yellow flags, although the incident is cleared now. But that was a fair move. Into the lead of the race he goes. The pole sitter down to 2nd place now. So Friedel 2nd and Brett Ward right behind him in 3rd. Those 3 together. We've got Petra Betzel 4th, Romain Jaloux in 5th, Joel Depuch in 6th place. Max Timmermans has made a mighty start from 19th on the grid. He's up to 7th place. Wackersdorf Besler has also made good progress and is in 8th position. So those 2 drivers not too far away from the lead pack here. And who's in that sort of slightly worrying 6th place? It's the all-green colour scheme of Romain Jaloux, the French driver, with those 7th and 8th place karts trying to catch him up as they go through turn 12 and start another lap here. Head down to the man in 2nd place as he tries to fend off Brett Ward. Brett Ward pulls out of the slipstream, has a think about it into turn 2. Will he have a go at turn 3? Yes, I think is the answer. Brett Ward squeezes through and gets 2nd place. He'll have the inside line for the left-hander at turn 4.
Yep, he's made that move. He's got himself into 2nd. He's had to work very hard for that, which has enabled Daniel Matchicek to actually pull a gap at the front there. So there's a lot of work for Brett Ward to do. But at the moment, he's got every chance of doing it, because not only has he made the move past Rasmus Friedel, but he's already managed to pull a kart length or two's gap and he is now focusing on the back of that leader, Daniel Makcek. He's had to wait a couple of laps, and we got a change there for third, so another position lost there for Rasmus Friedel, because the Hungary Petr Brezel has actually just moved himself up into third.
And perhaps more importantly, a change for sixth. Romain Gilou into the same corner at turn 11 was passed by Max Timmermans. So Max from 19th on the grid is into the qualifying zone now in sixth place and looking very, very rapid indeed. There's going to be more shakes and changes here, isn't there, at turn number 3 in that battle for fourth place. There's like 7 of them, 8 of them going for 6 places, and it's all getting a bit fraught at the back end. At the front end of the field, Brett Ward has now caught up to the tail of our race leader, Daniel Makcek. So first and second are nose to tail, separated by just a couple of kart lengths. In third place now it's Betzel. Down to fourth place, falling down the order a bit, is Rasmus Friedel, the Swedish driver who started the race from pole position. And they are working there. Oh, there's a bit of contact a bit further back there from somebody on the fringes of the top 6. Who was it?
I think it's Joel de Puch.
I think it is. Yeah.
And he's absolutely livid because he was sat there in 5th position and he's just pulled off at the end. So it is 239. Joel de Puch is out. Absolutely devastating news for him. One of the ones I was about to report has moved himself massively up. We were surprised he was even in this. Berke Besler is up into 5th position, and he's given himself the best possibility of getting through to the pre-final.
From 11th on the grid. So Joel de Puch, you saw there, a forlorn figure right in front of the camera. He's going to get going again. Max Timmermans and Berke Besler, the two that have flown up the order, particularly Timmermans, as I say, from the 10th row of the grid. So there's number 244, running in third place, Petra Betzel, but with close company now, Rasmus Friedel and Berke Besler. Besler goes for the move on the way to turn 9 and pulls it off. That was a very tidy move, wasn't it? So Besler now has risen from 11th up to 4th place. Our race leader is still Daniel Makcek. Second is... no, it's changed around. Brett Ward's got the lead of the race while we're looking at that battle further down the top 6. So Brett into the lead of the race. Hits the front of the field for the first time. Back where we started the weekend, really, for Brett. He started on pole position yesterday morning. He won his race. Then it all went a bit Pete Tong. But out of the turn 4 into turn 5, he's our new race leader. And I don't think Makcek is going to fight too hard. He'll just try and follow the very quick British driver around and make sure they keep their distance from the pursuing 4 karts at the back end of that top 6. There's Petra Betzel pointing forward, you can see there on the TV screens, pointing forward to Berke Besler. Don't fight me, just follow me. Let's get away from everybody else. So that's 3rd and 4th. Rasmus Friedel from pole is down to 5th place now. Max Timmermans is 6th. Romain Gilou is in 7th place and only about 4/10 of a second behind him. There is Romain Gilou in the green coloured kart, and he's getting himself now into position to try and get back up into the top 6. And he's also got with him John Grams, the German driver, number 281 in 8th place. So 6th, 7th and 8th altogether, and a change for 3rd there. Berke Besler says, I'm not following you, Petra Betzel. I want to get past you. I'm 3rd. Through he goes, and a change for that position.
Yeah, they're racers, let's not forget it. There's no just sitting in position. He was ready to do it, and it's actually meant that the 3rd position is quite lonely now. And in 4th position, dropped back now, is number 244, Petter Bezel, because he's now going to have to defend that 4th position from Rasmus Friedel and Max Timmermans. Max Timmermans, as you reported, really moved himself up nicely through the positions, and he's on the back of that chain of 6. Probably the most comforting thing for them is that 7th is quite a long way back at the moment.
See Max pointing forward there, is at the back of that train there with the orange and white suit, the blue helmet, pointing forward like, come on, let's catch them up, let's get away from 7th. It's always a bit nervy being 6th, isn't it? Because if you're 7th and you're close enough to the driver in 6th, in this race, you're going to have a go. Little look up the inside. Timmermans doesn't want to be 6th anymore, does he? He senses that he might be caught here if he gets stuck in the back for too long, Chris.
That looked like a risky move that he was even considering to do. So that does put it in perspective how nervous he is in that 6th. I mean, he has got quite a gap back to the Nicholas Pico, but Nicholas Pico is absolutely flying and he's closing in on him by at least 2/10 every lap. So keep an eye on Nicholas Pico, 260. He does have the fastest lap of the race so far, so he means business. And looking up the inside, we said that he was going to do it. Timmermans has managed to throw one up the inside, but they're still side by side as they head down to 12, and they're going to try and drag it out, but he's got the inside. Timmermans moves it up into 5th position. Rasmus Friedel, but he's coming back already. Rasmus Friedel desperately trying to do something. Look who's on the back of them, 260, 7th position at the moment, Nicholas Pico.
Pico's through to sixth place. Actually, as they cross the line now, it's
No,
altered
that'd be
itself.
Timmermans.
Yeah. So Timmermans up to fifth. Friedel sixth. Nicola Pico, though, he's going to be 4/10 closer to them after they held each other up. So Pico, the French driver, is the one to watch here. He got number 260.
Timmermans just had an issue there. I think that was Timmermans just had a big issue. So it's more than just his transponder now that's caused an issue, and he's right back here at this group here. So here he goes, 2, 3, 3. Not quite sure what happened there, and he's still struggling to get it back up to speed. So he's going to be well and truly down the order now, and it means that Nicolas Pico has got himself up into that sixth position.
Fifth, he's just gone down the inside at turn number 9. So a great lap this for Nicola Pico. There he is in the 260 car. He's gone past the pole sitter there. So the Swedish driver Rasmus Friedel back to sixth place in this precarious position. And Max Timmermans has tumbled all the way down to 14th place. He's got a problem. He must have a clear problem with that car.
Ninth, because he's got his delayed transponder.
So 9th place for Max Timmermans, but he's trying to get back into this. We've got not long left though, have we? 2 laps to go, including the one they're on. Brett Ward's on his own now, by the way, at the front of the field. Second and third, Matuszek and Besler are tied together, going down to the left-hander at turn 9. And there we go. Besler fires one down the inside and gets second place. Burke's in no mood for settling for a lowly position inside the top 6. He wants to get as high up the grid as possible. He is, of course, a championship contender. So good drive this from Burke Besler. From 11th to 2nd now. Ward leads. Besler second. Matuszek third. Betzel is 4th. Pico up to 5th. Friedel 6th. John Grams is 0.4 of a second behind him in 7th place with a lap to go now.
Yep, so Nicolas Pico still has the fastest lap of the race, but he's got quite a lot of work to do if he wants to make any moves.
That's the challenge for 6th place, and the German driver goes through. John Grams gets the place onto the last lap at turn number 3. So he's battling with Rasmus Friedel, who of course started on pole position. So this is the key battle for 6th place now with half a lap to go. Everybody else looks to be settled. Through they come, and yep, John Graham's now starting to pull away from Rasmus Friedel, and that means that I think he's going to get through here because Friedel is a bit too far back into turn 11, and he's not going to get the slipstream down to turn 12, and he's probably been caught by Romain Jalot as well. So I think it is going to be a last dash move. John Grams is going to do it. The flag goes out. Brett Ward wins. Burke Besler second. Daniel Matuszek third. Betzel 4th. Pico 5th. And John Grams gets 6th place in his home country. The final qualification position. Rasmus Friedel, who started on pole position, will be absolutely distraught with that. 7th place, just missing out on a place in the pre-final. Romain Jalot was 8th, not very far behind either. Max Timmermans is another one who will be absolutely fed up with that because something happened. We didn't quite spot what it was up at turn 3. He got battered out a bit, as Crystals has just pointed out. John Grams came from 25th on the grid to do that. That was a super drive. Might be able to catch up with him as Chris goes down to the Parc Fermé area now. So those are the 6 provisionally that will join the back of the grid for the senior pre-final later on. Brett Ward, Burke Besler, Daniel Matuszek, Petra Betzel, Nicola Pico and John Grams from almost the back of the grid. Rasmus Friedel second, Romain Jalot was 8th. In 9th place then, having got all the way up through the order into the top 6. Max Timmermans, I'm afraid, out of contention in 9th place. And 10th place was Nicholas Szabo. The fastest lap of the race went to Nicola Pico with a 51.271 second lap. Jordan Lennox-Lamb, we didn't even talk about him, did we? He didn't go out, I don't think. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb, he certainly didn't cross the start-finish line at the end of lap number 1. So Jordan Lennox-Lamb, I think it was a non-starter in that. They had terrible trouble with the kart yesterday and we were pretty much off the pace in the warm-up this morning as well. So might have just decided to call it a day, I'm afraid. So well done to Brett Ward, the winner. It's not going to give him pole position, but he is at least into the pre-final. He'll line up 29th on the grid, the race to come at 12 o'clock in about 1 hour and 15 minutes'